Single people, why are you single? Story 1. I'm a woman in my 70s. I've been married twice. First marriage was awful, and I stayed single for 20 years, but my second husband was a wonderful man. I lost him 2 years ago to cancer. The cat and I are doing very well together. I'm not interested in marrying again because in my generation, the men expect to be waited on and cleaned up after and catered to. Even the really good ones like my Lou, but they will do yard work. My house is clean. There are no wet towels on the floor. There are no dirty dishes scattered around the house. The dirty clothes are in the hamper. Anything I put down is where I left it unless the cat pushes it to the floor, and I eat when I'm hungry instead of on a set schedule. And I have a lawn tractor for my acre of land. I have lots of women friends and many are widows. We have a lot of fun together. Single works really well for me. Cats are easier and a lot less work than men. Story 2. I'm single because my life is really fucking great. I'm only going to be with someone else who's happy, healthy, and healed, who's going in the same direction as me. If that means I'm single for a long time, I'm going to be busy living my really fucking great life. Story 3. Meeting single people around the same age is hard in your 30s. I'm also reluctant to give up time with friends and personal interests for someone who might just be a meaningless ex of the past. I really want to be a dad, though. Story 4. When I was 13, I looked around and saw my mother, her sister, female cousins, all married to these lazy, worthless men who sit around watching TV, drinking, running around, whatever. I told them if I got married, it would be 50-50. They laughed and told me that it's never 50-50. Women do 80% of the work and men get 80% of the fun. That's just how it is. So I told them I wouldn't get married then. They laughed. I kept my word. Story 5. It's partially my fault for being shy, partially just having bad timing with women. The few who actually like me almost always have someone or are seeing someone, and I'm not that person. My looks hurt me a lot, but I try to make up for them. Story 6. Been single for 20 years now. In that time, I did all the things one would think would at least make me a blip on the radar of romantic interest. Now, being in my mid-40s and 20 years of the things not making a lick of difference, I just gave up. Besides, I don't want to start the whole dating thing from scratch at this point. It's a shit show. Story 7. Being single for me is about focusing on personal growth and enjoying life on my own terms. I'm not actively seeking a relationship because I'm content with where I am and the things I'm doing. Plus, I believe that the right relationship will come along when it's meant to. No need to rush things. Story 8. Because I would need to find somebody around my age range who's willing to put up with me, doesn't want children, and is somebody whom I am attracted to too. It's like a needle in a haystack, but the needle also needs to be single. Story 9. Let me tell you guys, it doesn't get any better. I'm dating women over 50. Single women over 50 are often coming out of divorces. They are learning that life for them, after they dump their loser husbands, gets better. They are finding out that single life can be very satisfying. I prefer to be with a woman. I work my ass off meeting women. I'm always trying to come up with ways of trying to convince them their life can be improved by being in a relationship with me. I'm not trying to bamboozle them. I'm just trying to become a great person. It ain't easy. I'll check in with you next year and give you an update. Story 10. I'm 38 years old. I've been single most of my life. I battled with depression and anxiety for many years, and I'm still struggling. On one hand, I'm afraid of a new relation because in my last relation, I have been cheated and it truly broke me. On the other hand, I am too anxious and panicked to talk to someone new, to meet new people or jot to go out and put myself out there. I want a relation, I want a family, and I am craving affection and just someone to talk to and share my everyday life with. I lost my mother recently after an illness, my last family member, and I'm struggling a bit to put myself back together. Last couple of years were hard, but I'm still here fighting. And I still have hope that one day I'll meet that someone for me. Story 11. Introverted, antisocial, depression, trust issues, no idea how to really meet people IRL, barely approached, people act like I'm not there. Online dating is not for me, looks, and apparently none of my friends have single friends. I think I summed it up. Story 12. I am currently single because I'm dedicated to personal growth and self-discovery. I believe in cultivating a deep and meaningful connection with someone who shares my values and aspirations. I am waiting for the right person with whom I can build a genuine and lasting relationship, rather than rushing into something that may not align with my long-term goals. Story 13. I'm single because I didn't have the great fortune to meet someone available that I deeply respect and admire to be together. I don't intentionally look for dates because it takes up too much time and effort and is more risky than investing in crypto. Might as well use my time for something else. Story 14. Because I love it. Everyone is different. A lot of people aren't built for relationships, which is why there are so many failed marriages, etc. out there. Yet everyone is convinced we're all the same and need to settle down and have kids. Why? I do whatever I like when I like, how I like. I have so much free time to enjoy, wouldn't trade it for anything. Story 15. Dating sucks. Everyone is looking for instant gratification. I want my partner to be a millionaire, be a lawyer, be a Michelin star chef, a superstar, own 1 million homes, run 1 million businesses, have time for me 24/7, be a seasoned stand-up comedian, be a professor of arts, a neurosurgeon, an astronaut, be a world-class athlete, have an IQ of 1 million, be a man, be a woman, be a man-woman. Nobody understands what it means to build a life with someone and the sacrifices that come along with it. Story 16. I'm significantly overweight, but working on in, and therefore not conventionally attractive. I'm not willing to lower my standards just for the sake of being with someone. By the same token, I can't expect that the women I'm attracted to will lower their standards to be with me. So I'm kind of stuck until I can lose more weight. I'm tilde 60 lbs down from my heaviest, but still have a lot of work to do. Story 17. It's not in my priority. I'm content for now. The thought of being in a relationship is something I'm not against. I'm always working on myself, but for myself, not for anyone else. If I find someone with the same goals and ideals, great, even though it might be a long wait. Story 18. Life is very good right now, financially, mentally, etc. I want to be with someone who will also add to that. I want someone who will not ruin the peace I have within myself. It's quite hard, honestly. Another reason is because I'm in a women-dominated job, so there are no men to really date. That contributes a lot as well, lol. Story 19. Still focusing on healing and growth. Most men who approach me are either bi, closet gays, or committed married already. I'm not open to trying, experimenting on it as I grew up witnessing my parents but monogamous with value of fidelity in a relationship, something that I want in a relationship that is hard to find nowadays. Story 20. I value freedom way above companionship. I want to take all the decisions in my life without having to take another person into account. Most people in my life would understand that, but it would definitely hurt a partner in the long run. If today I decided I wanted to move to another country and 3 days later to another one, or eat a piece of bread all day because I want, only money could stop me from taking those decisions. Also, I want to be left alone in my head most of the time and do stuff when I feel like it, not when someone else does. I'm pretty selfish, so it doesn't work well with a SO. Story 21. Since my last relationship ended, I traveled and lived across the world for some time, got a cool job, built my dream car and tracked it many times, got a house, got a second car, went on multiple last-minute camping and road trips and bike almost every day. I kind of don't see a need for anyone at the moment. Last woman I was seeing, I had to end it because they were getting too needy, and I didn't feel like sacrificing my freedom at all, even though I liked the sex. I love getting to the weekend and wondering what adventure I should go on because I actually have the time and resources to do whatever. Never really did that when I was in my last relationship, and it made me sad that I hardly did anything interesting. Story 22. I am 42. I was thinking about buying a house and calculated when I paid my current debt to start saving up. It's by 2030, so I thought, okay. Then I thought about how much I could pay monthly to pay off the credit I would take for the house and realized that I only had approximately 19 years, Germany pension starts at 67, time for that, which is nothing for a big credit like that. That was when it hit me that I'm getting old and didn't plan for my retirement at all. In my head, I am still early 30s. Story 23. I have been having unrequited romantic feelings towards certain someone for quite a long time now. It feels pointless to stay not being single unless she changes her mind. People often say things like, I gotta rip off the bandage and move on. I know, it just doesn't work, at least for now. So I'm just getting by, expecting the time would start working on it someday. Story 24. If you meet a loner, no matter what they tell you, it's not because they enjoy solitude. It's because they have tried to blend into the world before, and people continue to disappoint them. Jodi Picoult. After years of asking women out, it has resulted only in rejection, lies, and vague answers. All this results in me feeling really bad, and I don't want to go through the same pain again. If I ever step out single life and into a relationship with a woman, it is because she is not afraid to show her feelings to me. We don't live in that world anymore. Story 25. Because men are only nice at first, but take you for granted as soon as you tell them that you like them, would give no commitment, love, or attention, only sweet talks when they want something, and all the other times they are busy because their job is too hectic. In short, most men are dogs. Story 26. I'm not trying to sound edgy, but my social battery gets maxed out very quickly, and any interaction after that annoys me. I just don't enjoy being around people too much. I'm far better off talking to people on Discord, for example. This is beside the fact that I am also asexual, and well, that makes me immediately incompatible to a good 99% of the dating pool. Story 27. I've been truly single, had a couple month or two relationships for the past 3.5 years. I had a lot of codependency issues and tied who I was and what I had to offer to my girlfriend, whoever it was that I would be dating. After my last breakup, I decided I would become my own person and not give up my personal interests, be disrespected, etc. The usual single people mentality stuff. Anyways, 3.5 years later, I might have a special lady that ends the single streak, but who knows? I don't want to just have a partner because I'm lonely. Story 28, ugly in it. Oh, and having 3 major relationships where each partner cheated, with the first one wheedling her way into my parents' lives after the split and remaining close friends with them in the hope of getting what she's due when they die. And yes, she's been written into the will, the last one taking everything from me, including the possibility of having children and a family of my own. I believe remaining single is the way to go. Story 29. Because I don't really feel the need or urge to pursue romance, don't want to be a parent, and am more than happy with a job I like, family, friends, and my pets. Like IDK, I just don't really find myself attracted to anyone, connecting on anything more than the friendship level, or wanting to. Story 30. I generally think men suck. I also have requirements on the person I'm dating. Nothing crazy, more like believe that all people are equal and don't be a dick, and I find that most men don't live up to them. I enjoy my own company, and I'm rather single than in a relationship where I wouldn't feel completely comfortable. Story 31. I'm single because she just wants to keep me around for the perks of a boyfriend, but she isn't ready for commitment. She has expressed romantic interest in me, but ultimately, I'm single because she probably has someone else, and I'm just a backup plan. Story 32. Well, if I approach any girl, I will most likely get rejected because I am mainly known as that annoying crybaby from 5 years ago. And living in a small town is hell because everyone knows each other and news spread fast, so it would be embarrassing. Partner that with the fact that I get made fun of for doing basically anything, like eating, walking, talking, just waiting to get out of this place. Story 33. Because I'm working on healing the wounds I already have with therapy, DBT skills, life changes, and taking the time to truly process and work on myself and my life. I've grown, and it's no one's job but my own to deal with these pains. Connecting with someone in an emotionally intimate way right now seems rude to them, and myself, because I am in no way able or willing to be the kind of partner I desire to be. I'm also still rearranging my life so much that I cannot offer the kind of stability I would like in a partner. Also, unlike my abusive rapist ex, I find it absolutely wild to date someone else while we're still in a court case about my order of protection from him. I refuse to be someone that takes out my pain from one relationship on a new one. I won't use a human and their emotions and life and time and body to comfort me and let them think we're building a future while I'm just letting them lick my wounds. Story 34. Dating apps suck, so I've just given up on those. I quit drinking so I don't know where to meet people outside of bars. My job is pretty intense, so my off hours are usually spent decompressing. Weekends are for doing all the menial tasks I put off all week. Also, I don't know, been in enough long-term relationships to realize that if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and that's okay. I don't have to have a partner to feel fulfilled. Would I like a relationship? Sure, I miss having one. But do I need a relationship? Nah. Story 35. The guy I like seems really shy about feelings. We have been friends for a long time, so I'm sure it's scary for both of us to think about the dynamic changing and things possibly eventually going south. We've both been single for years. I told him in messages about my feelings. I refuse to say anything out loud in person unless he does first. It is a benchmark for me since I have always been the first to say something in relationships. I'm letting him take the lead if he wants to. I've had a crush on him for 1.5 years and we've known each other for 15. It's been nice to let the rose-colored glasses begin to slip off my face. I used to jump headfirst into something without caution. It ended badly for me. I also am okay with staying single because I love my life and lack of criticism, like I had when in a relationship. I've been with men who were narcissistic and potentially some were autistic, very stubborn, critical, and/or manipulative either way. It was draining, so I don't want that again. I want a lighthearted, caring, and considerate love, like what I want to give. I was with someone who attempted to choke me when I was married to him and called the cops on me for trying to recover my things. And I've been in other bad relationships, so needless to say, I'm very cautious. You never think someone will try to kill you whom you thought loved you. So, it's hard to trust someone enough to be in a vulnerable situation alone like that. The friend that I like is the first and probably only man that I trust wouldn't do something like that to me. That is saying a lot because I had completely given up. I am head over heels for him, but it's totally okay if we don't become something either. It's safe to say I'm avoidant. LOL. And so is he. I think that is why our situation works the way it does. We both care a great deal about each other. I know we both know that. Story 36. The dating scene in the US is generally pretty abysmal for everyone. But from my experience, I stopped pursuing relationships because it gets tiring after so long. This is especially true if you want a truly meaningful, long-term connection with someone. And that's something that seems to get harder to find year after year, especially with the continued rise of hookup culture or intimacy without commitment. My question is, how can you be intimate without commitment? If you're intimate to what is basically the level of dating, but you never commit, that's not real intimacy. That's a fuck buddy. As I stated before, it's a large and multifaceted issue on both sides. But for me, I just can't be bothered to invest time, energy, and money on a relationship that's half-assed. I want something meaningful. And if you've ever had one of those rare diamond-like relationships where you're both fully committed, intimate, and connected, you know that the sex is like 10x better than just an empty primal release. I guess the difference for me versus a lot of other people is that I'm actually willing to wait for that diamond-level connection with someone when it happens to reveal itself. But in the meantime, I'm happy to have an open schedule and what I could only describe as tranquility, since I'm not in a rush to complete a bunch of daily tasks at any given time. Yeah, I know some asshole who doesn't understand this concept is going to call me an incel, but so what? I don't dislike or hate on women, and in my experience, I usually respect my female friends more than my male friends just because they screw around less. In fact, my only best friend is a female, and being completely honest, she is probably one of the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life. Story 37. As a 20-year-old, I found it really hard to meet people that aren't shallow. If that makes sense, it's not easy to connect with a lot of people at this age. I think some people are in relationships for the wrong reasons, but I'd rather have genuine connection with someone, not just a source of inconsistent validation, and I just haven't found that in anyone yet. I thought I did with my ex-boyfriend, but the relationship was toxic because we were both young and dumb. And when I realized shit and wised up, the damage done to our relationship was already irreparable. I'm taking my time to just be and not force anything because I am so young and have a lot of life and love ahead of me. Story 38. I have a very blessed and comfortable life, and I need a man who adds to that and not take away. And I don't mean that it all has to be perfect, but the men I have encountered, unfortunately, are not at my level in terms of emotional intelligence or even financially. At the EOD, I would like someone to help me grow as well, rather than me mothering them. So far, the relationships I've been in, I was already asked to compromise on so many things in the talking stage. I am in my 30s and expect them to have their stuff figured out rather than make it someone else's job. Story 39. Both of my last serious relationships ended in me being cheated on with the people that I shouldn't worry about. One is getting married to the guy I wasn't supposed to worry about. The other wanted a poly relationship while telling me she definitely didn't want a poly relationship. She went and had a secret poly relationship with 2 other people on the back end. Lesson learned. Coincidence after coincidence that's giving you bad gut feelings shouldn't be ignored. There were times where I calmly sat each of them down to talk about my concerns and that I'd prefer honesty so we could make a decision on how to move forward. Wasn't worth the effort. Some people will just keep lying if there's benefit for them. Been trying to rebuild my self-confidence, trust, and most importantly, setting boundaries when my body is telling me something isn't right. It's a lot of work that hasn't made me eager to jump back into the dating scene lately.